by
Of
the way,
course.
right? Because
Absolutely.
even, anybody my generation and older, I didn't grow up with social media either. Like I had a pager and I thought I was cool at the age of like 16. Cell phones
Yeah.
weren't around like that yet. But in a different aspect, I guess, then it was what you see on commercials.
Hmm.
And that was probably one of the biggest influences for people that are my generation. And now it's like your living commercials are on your Instagram feed or wherever.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you don't have opposing viewpoints. You don't have a balanced way
Yes.
of evaluating information or what's being fed to you is real or not real. So,
Yeah.
you know, you can understand how there could be some sort of fake news from whatever perspective you belong to. If all
Mm-hmm.
you're listening to, right, if all you're listening to is one channel, whatever that channel ends up being, and you believe it so passionately about yourself that everything else now ceases to become truthful, everybody else is fake, and I'm the only one that can be right. So this is
Yeah.
part of the problem. So how do we get through that? Well, step 2, contemplation. We must intend to start that healthy behavior. We must intend to change things. We have to stop
Mm-hmm.
thinking about what our awareness is of our own tribe and be willing to open up to other possibilities. Just like a baby is,
Yes.
right? Just like a baby.
Absolutely. It's so true. And this is where I want to interject for anybody that's been listening to me for any amount of time. It's why you'll often hear me and some of my guests talk about, grounding or going outside or whatever it is that you need to do to take time for yourself in that stillness. Some people it's meditation, whatever that looks like, going for a walk in. I'm looking at the woods here outside of my window and going in there and taking the time to contemplate, like you're saying, so that we can then get clear on, okay, what is it that I actually want? Like what kind of reality vision board do I
Mm-hmm.
want to create, and how do I start working towards that?
Right, exactly. Now, here's a distinction that I think we need to make as well. And it's something
Mm-hmm.
it's really subtle, but it's very important. There's a distinction between goals and outcomes. You can have a goal of making X number of sales, or you can have a goal of building a business to a certain level. But the reality ends up being the outcome that you're looking for is really the reason why you're creating that goal,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
The
now
why behind it.
exactly, right? The second, third, and fourth level questions underneath the top of your vision.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's talk about what that means for here, peace and unity. Let's stop talking about awareness of people's problems and let's start figuring out what the outcome we want is going to be.
Yeah.
What would it be like for women and men to be equal? I mean, let's get really specific now. It's not, equal pay is one thing, right? I get that. But let's drop below that. What do women really want? Remember the story I told you about opening the big door and getting slapped?
Yes.
Right? I'm asking right now, tell me what outcome you would like so that I can help make that happen. Now imagine if we all had that attitude to move forward. Our intention is all about helping other people with a very specific outcome in mind. Yes, you have goals, and I get that. But if we're talking at that deep level, that outcome level, there isn't anything we can't do as a society, as a culture. But we have, but right? But we have to be willing to get to that level, and I think we can do that right now with these steps.
Yeah, and I want to say, because this image or the saying came up so strongly when you're talking about that, which was, you would hear about Mother Teresa saying she would never attend a rally on, stop the war,
Mm-hmm.
because she didn't want to put the energy into that. It was all about, peace and
Right.
love,
Right.
because it's a big difference, like
Mm-hmm.
stop violence, stop war, versus how can we create peace and love.
Right. Absolutely. And what's interesting is I study history and psychology, and when I look at some of the original peace movements of the middle to late 60s, it truly was about make love, not war, which was the big slogan at the time. Towards the end, it was a shift, and it was war is wrong, and anybody who stands up for it is wrong as well. And the people at the time did not make the distinction between the military, the politicians, and the soldiers. It was a really sad time. We weren't making that fundamental distinction that we can do now. We're a much more, I think, informed society than we were back in the 1960s, because we're connected in a better way. As long as we use that information for figuring out how we can help each other with those outcomes. What is our intention, right? My intention is to assist you find the right people so that you can build a better community for you. And in the result, I know that the community that you build is going to be a better community that I can participate in.
Yes.
That's what's called collaborative capitalism on the business side. And in my perspective, that's what's called living a fulfilled life.
Yes. Ugh. Oh, so good, so good. And we only have a few minutes left here, but this is wonderful how we're wrapping it up today, because it really is about the more that I can support the collaboration and well-being of the people around me, the more it automatically lifts me up as well. It's like, let's raise together. It's not about this competition, limited resources that had been drilled in many people's heads for so long. We're way past that, guys. We got to move on to the bigger picture and be much more cohesive and collaborative. Yeah.
Absolutely. And the work that you're doing and the tribe that you're building is amazing. And I can't wait to see what this looks like in the next 1, 3, 5 years, and how it intersects with all of our culture. Keep up the great work.
Well, you're definitely, thank you, Jim. And you're definitely going to be a part of it, because we definitely have many more things to collaborate on and support each other with in the future. And speaking of supporting each other, I would love for you to share how the people can find you and the special, amazing gift that you're offering our audience.
Absolutely. You can reach me, Jim at perceptiveinsights.com or perceptiveinsights.com, my website. I also am on JBH Entrepreneur on Facebook. That's my Facebook page. You can also go on LinkedIn, and it's JB Herrera. And I also have a LinkedIn page, Perceptive Insights, there. So that's my social media contacts. And I seriously welcome anybody to have this kind of conversation, because, again, it's how we can use our intention to create the outcomes. And I'd love to kind of further the conversation. I would like to offer your listeners a special opportunity. The tools that I use to teach the alignment of values with business strategy, marketing strategy, and communication for my high-end consulting clients is normally a $1,700 price, but for your listeners, I'd like to offer it at $497. And even if you decide not to do that, I'd still like to offer you something that I think is of great value. If you're thinking about starting a business, I've written a small book. It's about 35 pages. It's the ultimate checklist to startups. It includes everything that you need to be aware of, including some of the mindset things that you need to address before and as you start up your company That's for free. You can go to perceptiveinsights.com/soul and download that for free.
So wonderful. Thank you for being so incredibly generous with your time, your insight and wisdom, and the gifts you're offering. I firmly believe everybody listening, go get this. Use, again, this beautiful gift that Jim is offering to help all of us become even better at what we're doing. So thank you, Jim. And for myself, if anybody wants to find out more about me, you can always head over to my website, jillianbeth.love. I have a really cool PDF over there that you can get as well about the 5 simple steps to leverage your feminine superpowers. It really helps turn on your creative juices and get clear on next steps, much like we were talking about today, different things you can do to support you in that. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. My desire is for each and every one of you to be living your soul's purpose. I thank you, Jim.